That's the secret. That's why this girl right here, without the formal education, without the connection, without the right last name and not the right neighborhood, was able to do something. I'm Esther Tanez, an entrepreneur, a mother of 3 boys, and I started with only $10 from the bottom up. What tools do you wish you had? When you start a business, you have to have the commitment. There's no way to start a business without the commitment. The journey is not for the faint of heart, definitely. And even if you go to business school, I didn't go to business school. Even for those that went to business school, what sounds great on paper and what reality is, there is it's a gap. So I encourage people that are thinking of being an entrepreneur to have the commitment, have a strong why, have a purpose that you wanna make sure that you leave behind, that you continuously educate yourself, that you are always curious. Listen to the customer. As the community changes, it's not a bad thing. It just means you need to evolve. Pivoting has to be part of being an entrepreneur because the need of the community keeps changing. Now, that doesn't mean that you compromise your core values. That doesn't mean that you have to completely be a whole different business, but expand. I started as an insurance agency, and then people needed other things that they could not find in the community, and I had the ability to offer that. Also, some things I had to learn, and it kept complementing. It wasn't like I went from insurance and then, selling coffee. I went from insurance to first personal, then commercial insurance. Then I went into, tax preparation because people needed help, translations, notarizing documents, and then expanded to bookkeeping services. And now we've added consultation and tax strategy, but it evolved with the need, and I was willing to study and hire people that had those strengths and that knowledge because the community needed it. The more errors I saw, it's like you see it one time and then you start to see it 40 times and 100 times. You either have to build a relationship with someone that you can refer for those services, or if it is in your wheelhouse, then you expand into it. Now we are a full service for small businesses. Almost anything a small business needs, we can offer it, except for marketing. But we are able to help them from the registration to insurance to accounting services to taxes to tax strategy. It is holding the hand of that small business owner through those fundamental pieces that every business owner needs. My first clients were Puerto Ricans and Dominicans that were there for generations, and Black American community. Then the community changed. Immigrants started to come in from South America. I'm Spanish, but I didn't know that Spanish. I mean, I knew like conversation Spanish, and I had to learn how people, when they spoke Spanish, they use different phrases that I never heard, and sometimes I didn't understand what they were saying. So, but it's okay. I took the time to learn, and I saw the need. I'll tell you a story. When I finally had my storefront, because I started at the basement of my mother's home, a woman came to my door, and she was very pregnant, and she had her purse on top of her belly. And so she's at the door, and I said, "Oh, how can I help you?" And she spoke Spanish, so I picked that up quickly, and I said, "Come in." And she seemed a little nervous. And it was interesting because when she came to sit with me, I decided, I spoke to her and I said, what's the matter? She takes out this stack of mail and she shows it to me, and she says, "I don't understand what it's saying." Now, she was recently arrived into the States, and she ended up living at that time. My office was in Newark, New Jersey. And I said, oh, you need me to, read them? And she goes, yes, I need help. And I read all the letters. I put it all together. I gave her the list of things that they needed. She was very nervous because it was with the Board of Education. And I said, no, they just need this, gather it together, bring it to me, and I'll package it. And don't worry. You'll go to the office and there's always another Puerto Rican lady that's going to be there to help you. And she's like, but I don't understand. And she goes, don't worry, the Puerto Rican lady, even with our broken Spanish, we will help you. And she went to the office and she was able to get everything resolved. And there was a Spanish person there at the office and did help her. And then she sent her friend, and then her friend sent another friend. I became their letter reader. I mean, of course I couldn't charge for that. How could you? I mean, someone needed help. And that, I didn't know it was a marketing tool. I had no idea it was going to bring me clients. Their husbands started to start little businesses, and they needed insurance for their commercial vehicles. And then they started going into construction, and then they needed insurance for their small businesses. Little did I know that just a moment of kindness and compassion for someone else that was lost and didn't know what to do, that little help got me a lot of clients. And in 7 months, I finally had some money in my bank account. So listen to the need of the customer. You never know. I'm going to share with you some of the mistakes I made. The number one thing that you should not do when there is a financial crisis. Now, I didn't know it was going to be this long. I didn't know it was going to take that long. I believed media that it was going to be a 2-year thing. And I said, I got this. I have reserves. We're good. I have at least 2.5 years of money saved, and I'm good. Well, everybody knows I didn't last 2.5 years. It lasted years after that. And so, number one thing, when it's a crisis, when it's chaotic, when it's, reduce your excess expenses. Don't try to keep it. If that means you have a fancy home and you need to get rid of that fancy home because you don't know where it's going, do that. It's better to minimize, get a smaller home and pay it in full, or look for things, anything that's excess. In my case, it was the mega home, my dream home. I kept it, and so until you can't keep it no more. Don't stop advertising. If you have a business, don't make that mistake. And that was a huge mistake. It cost me because not only the market went down, not only my clients were losing their own homes, their own jobs, not only the industry lowered the premiums, lower our commissions. So we were getting hit. Less clients, less commission, less premium, and the values of your homes were going down. And people were migrating back home. I mean, literally, customers were like, I'm going back home. What am I going to do here? And shipping, I had a lot of Dominican clients that were into trucking. They were shipping their trucks to Dominican Republic and starting their businesses over there. I had Ecuadorian clients also leaving. So I had a big exodus of clients. So we were losing clients by the thousands. It was so many clients. And then the sad stories. Oh my God, so you have to be present. You're losing the commission. The customer is going through struggle. They're there to tell you, I cannot keep this policy. They're signing the forms and crying. And you have to be there with them. Now, I know they tell you not to cry with somebody because it's not about you. I couldn't help it. It was all day. We had one client after another client after another client. Husbands leaving, wives leaving, losing their jobs, returning their homes, short sales, foreclosure. I mean, I would go home exhausted. And so, but there has to be a business that is going to take care of the community that still needs to be taken care of. And so I stopped advertising. That hurt me so badly. So I spent my reserves when I shouldn't because it was a crisis. So that's not when you use reserves. You use reserves when it's something temporary. Not when it's a crisis that's going to take years to pick yourself up. I didn't minimize the excess, so I didn't get rid of the fat. And then I used to spend $100,000 in advertising, and so, okay, I'll save myself $100,000. Okay, maybe I didn't have to do the $100,000, but I should have done something. And people started to think that I was out of business. And I was, what do you mean? I'm right here. And they said, I didn't see your ads and with billboards, and I didn't see the magazine. And then I was all over magazines, radio, TV, book, wherever I could be, I was. And I have to tell you, it was when people would come back and say, I haven't seen your ads in so long, I thought you were shut down too. Because that's what was happening. People were closing their businesses and, doing what they have to do. So that's a lesson I learned later on. You also should have systems and processes in place, and that's a long conversation, but you need to know your numbers, you need to know who you're taking care of, you need to know who your target audience is and who you serve really well. And at that time, we were serving a lot of contractors, a lot of truckers, anything in the real estate space. We were on it like white on rice. and then that's the market that got hit. So diversify. Real estate is a beautiful space. I still take care of a lot of that, but you have to do maybe a little bit of restaurants or whatever you can do to diversify your clientele, because life is about ebbs and flows. There always is going to be some kind of challenge that you're going to be affected by, even if you didn't do anything wrong. I was minding my own business, serving my clients. And all of a sudden, I found myself, I didn't know what the plan was. I didn't know what to do. And everyone I knew was going through the same thing, and none of us knew what to do. And so I did have one friend that said, get rid of the fat, sell the summer home, the big house, all the things that you work for, right? And if I would have done it, it would have been a different story. And so the hardship that came afterwards was much more harder, because I didn't know how to make those decisions. I didn't know how to pivot in time. And I didn't want to, I really believed the news, CNBC and all the news. I said, it's about 2 years, and it wasn't, it was 10. That was rough. But I was ready when COVID came. Now, different ready. I had all the technology, all the systems in place. We had improved our systems so good that everyone just picked up their computers, a phone, and worked from home. Where a lot of my colleagues went under because they didn't have the technology side. Now, I would say I was lucky. I don't think I didn't strategize really. It was because I have multiple office, so it made sense to have more technology. And I got lucky the second time when that chaos came in, when everybody was shut down. Now my business is different, because if you were in the touching people, it didn't matter all the technology, it didn't matter. Unfortunately for them, they had to close their businesses, spas and hair salons, but the construction business did really well, especially the outside work. Anyway, forever learning. I read a lot, I go to workshops, I ask a lot of questions, I'm always curious, and I'm going to tell you who I ask questions. I not only ask questions to the business owners, I ask questions to people who are friends, who happen to have a position in their company. I ask people who work for corporate America. I ask kids, Gen Zs. I have a staff of Gen Zs. And I sit down with them because I need to understand what are they seeing and how they see it. And I have to tell you, if you can just put your guard down and not think that you have all the answers, every group has something to offer. So always be curious, always learning, always expanding. Even if you go to college to the business school, 20 years from now, whatever you learn, it's useless. It's forever evolving. So don't think that I have a degree, so therefore I know. No. The degree is great. It prepares the foundation. It kind of gives you kind of ways to look at things, or familiarity and the words and things that you should be doing in your business. But when it comes to doing it, read, build relationship, go to workshops, forever be open, because life is forever evolving.
What is your toolkit for financial confidence?
I think one of the things that and this happens with time, right? We all start with no confidence or not sure. And recently I heard someone say confidence is keeping the commitment of what you say you're going to do. And that I have. And I will compound that statement with say what you're going to do and then do it. And then also be willing to always perfect it and learn it better. When I was first a manager and then a boss, yeah, it wasn't that great. But I was telling one of my employees today that what you did 10 years ago, you did it at the best you could because you had the information you had was you made the best decision with what you had. And you're going to look back and you say, oh, I could have done it better. But you couldn't because you didn't have all the pieces there. 10 years from now, I'm going to look back and say, oh, I could have done that better. So I say all that to say that it's okay where you are today, whether it's knowledge of money, knowledge of your industry, knowledge of parenting, knowledge of relationship, whatever. Every day try to do a little better. Whether it's picking up a book or finding a coach or watching videos or going to workshops, always try to improve yourself a little better. And that's what builds confidence. It's the commitment to yourself to show up and be willing to expand. Now the financial part, it's a game. It starts with mindset. I know people don't believe that, but if you have a bad attitude towards it, if you're afraid about it, if you think it's hard, it's too difficult, it's too complicated, it's not going to show up. It's like an unwanted guest, right? But in these times, 2025, my God, you have every tool. You have ChatGPT that can tell you exactly what to do. It can plan things for you. And there's a whole bunch of more AI apps. The point is that today we don't have to walk around in fear because we have the power of information. So I'm going to tell you about the stages that we all go through. And this is a cycle that you're going to go through multiple times, okay? You're going to go through the stage that you don't even know that you don't know. It's okay. We all have been there, and there are other areas that you're going to go through that you don't even know that you don't know. Then you're going to find out, oh, I didn't know that. It's okay. You're going to go through that. So now that you're aware that you didn't know, you have the power of getting that information and learning it. School, books, videos, workshops, my goodness, endless ways of learning. But that's not what makes you successful. You want to know what makes you successful? The doing. The doing what you just learned. You know, have you had a conversation with somebody that says to you, they tell you, oh, I'm trying to do this. Oh, you know, I heard that if you do this, that, you'll get there. I know. You know? Yeah. Do it. Listen, no one's that much smarter than you are. Sure, there's some scientific people, there's some creative people, overall, we're probably a 6. Okay? The world is full of average people who make efforts. The successful person does what it learns. That's it. You want the secret? That's the secret. That's why this girl right here, without the formal education, without the connection, without the right last name and not the right neighborhood was able to do something. Do I have it all together perfect in a little bow tie? No, it's all good. It's okay. I'm going to learn how to get it even better. Am I far away from where I started? My goodness. Yes. I learn, I do. I fall, I get up, I learn, I do. That's it. Don't complicate it. Don't overthink it. Whatever you offer today is the best that you have today. And in 10 years, you'll offer even better. Just evolve. My God, if you look back, I'm sure you're saying to yourself, I wasn't that good looking. Or the outfit I was wearing was awful. But you thought you got it going on, right? So that's life. You will always evolve to get better. But the only way to get there, make the commitment, learn what you have to learn, and for God's sakes, do it. Just do it. Relationships are important. There's at least 5 relationships that I recommend for every small entrepreneur. Speaking to the business owner, the 3 things that you should know. Your experiences past. They're done. Start today, new life. You're blessing everyone else. It's not a bad thing. It's what you do with it.